The big event in Washington this week is going to be the confirmation hearing of Neil Gorsuch, President Donald Trump's nominee for a vacant seat on the Supreme Court. Confirmation hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee start on Monday. Going to be a big event. Three things that I'm going to be watching for. One is, how will Neil Gorsuch handle questions about the man who nominated him for this seat, this highly visible appointment? President Trump has obviously said some things about judges and the judiciary that have been controversial.
But except that you're calling into question his heritage.
I think he should recuse himself.
Because he's Latino. But you're invoking his race when talking about whether or not he can do his job.
Jack, I'm building a wall. Okay, I'm building a wall.
He's criticized specific judges for the way they've handled cases in which he's been involved. He's criticized entire courts for the way they've handled issues such as his immigration ban. I think the question for Neil Gorsuch in this context is going to be, how independent will you be from the man who nominated you for the Supreme Court? Secondly, I think it's going to be important to watch the action outside of the confirmation hearing room. No longer is a Supreme Court nomination an issue that is simply decided among 100 senators. It's become an issue for much public lobbying. There's going to be pressure from the right, obviously, from people who want Neil Gorsuch to be the guy who takes the place of the late Justice Antonin Scalia. This is the empty seat that he's filling. Want a reliable conservative. They consider Neil Gorsuch to be that. And there's going to be heavy lobbying from the left on Democratic senators to oppose Neil Gorsuch, to not allow him to fill the seat that President Obama tried and failed to fill before he had to leave office, which leads to the third thing I'm going to be watching, which is, how do Democratic senators respond? This is the key to the entire affair. All the Republicans, 52 of them in the Senate, will surely vote for Neil Gorsuch. The question is, will 8 Democratic senators do the same so that you can have the 60 votes necessary in the Senate when it gets to the floor to overcome a filibuster? If that's not the case, Republicans are likely to invoke the so-called nuclear option to change the rules of the Senate so that you cannot filibuster a Supreme Court nominee and allow Neil Gorsuch to be confirmed with only 51 votes. That would be an earthquake in the Senate. It would rupture longstanding traditions. It would be an action that injects even more partisan bile into the system in Capitol Hill. I think that both sides would like to avoid that if possible. Question is, how many Democrats are going to buck the outside pressure in their own party and support Neil Gorsuch?